What's up, internet? My name's Ori. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. You like this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. Today, we're talking about Survivor Season 44. We had the premiere episode last night, and we'll be covering this season alongside of Big Brother Canada. We did the cast reveal for Big Brother Canada yesterday, so Thursdays are going to be busy starting next week, because Thursday you're going to get two different reviews of episodes. You're getting the Survivor 44 episode, and you're also getting the Big Brother Canada season 11 episode from that Wednesday night. So Thursday mornings you're getting two videos. Then at night we have the live eviction for Big Brother Canada, which we'll be doing a live watch along right here on the channel every Thursday. So you're not going to want to miss any of that if you are a fan of either of those shows. You're getting a lot of Ori on Thursdays. Thursdays are definitely, you're getting a lot of Ori. But let's jump into this episode here. And it was a good one. And look, don't get me wrong. If you are a Survivor fan and you've been watching Survivor Australia like I have been this season, this didn't compare, right? Survivor Australia this season is on another level. All hail King George. But this was fun. I really liked this episode for a lot of different reasons. One, I felt like I walked away really knowing a lot about all the different cast members. There's only a handful that I wish we got a little bit more from, but I felt like they did such a good job in the edit of giving me a good idea of how each of these players are going to kind of play this game, what their motivations are, what their thought processes are going to be. Really, other than maybe like Jamie, Josh, Franny, uh, maybe Sarah. Maybe I think I would want a little bit more from Sarah. I felt like I got a good idea of who these people are just in this episode, and it was awesome. So many times in Survivor, you'll get these edits that just, they call them purple edits, right? Because you just kind of disappear. And there was one Survivor cast member in particular who suffered from that. So it's kind of been a thing that's happened from time to time. Doesn't seem like we're getting too much of that. Like I said, there's a few of them. There's a few of them I wish I would have got some more from. But it also gives me the idea that, look, I don't think Jamie, listen, we'll get to Jamie in a bit. I don't think you have to worry about Jamie doing anything. Again, I wish we had gotten more from Sarah, because I felt like she was an interesting uh, character and cast member, but I don't know if, because we didn't get that much of her, if that means she's not going to phase into the end game. So I'm actually a little bit worried about Sarah going forward. Josh, we didn't get a lot from him, and hopefully that doesn't mean we're not going to see him a lot. Franny, we didn't get enough of, I don't think, but also there's a showman's coming up with her and Matt, which that's going to be interesting as well. Island Man, I don't even know what you would call it. First one they've had in Survivor in a really long time, but it seems like there's going to be something going on between the two of them. But yeah, overall, I really liked how this episode portrayed all of the cast members and the view we've got into them and how they're going to be in this game. Let's start right from the top, though. We have to talk about that cold open. When they opened on Carolyn, and she talks about how, she can't even put the sentences together of I'm Carolyn and I'm a drug counselor. They're like trying to walk her through this. She is wild. Self-admittedly, she says I'm always called the weird crazy one, and you know what? I kind of love her. I think she's going to be an early candidate for someone to vote out if they have to go to tribal. But also I could see her being dragged to the end. And listen, if you got Carolyn sitting next to you at the end, you're feeling real good. There's no way you're losing this game. But other than that, we jump into the very first challenge, and man, do they love getting these guys messy. For the past few seasons, they've started doing these challenges where you have to earn your supplies, and it always involves them getting a real messy. These guys were covered in mud within 5 minutes of them starting this challenge. Poor Bruce smacks his head right in the beginning of this thing, starts bleeding. They had to call medical over eventually. He even actually got pulled from the game later in the night. But what a rough way to start for him. Just day one head injury, and then has to get pulled from the game. I also really like the little twist on this challenge they did this year. So normally it was like, hey, if you win, you get your supplies. If you lose, you have to go back to the island. And you have to go back to your camp and kind of do a challenge, either sweat or savvy, like a hard physical thing or some kind of puzzle. And then you would earn your supplies that way. There's a little twist on it that they did, especially with having three tribes. The first place tribe, they got their stuff. The second place, they actually had a choice between sweat or savvy. So they could choose which one they had to do. And then the last place tribe, they had the no option, right? They just got whatever the other ones didn't pick. That's what they had to do. So we ended up with Soka being the winning tribe, our green tribe down there on the bottom row. They won the challenge, and then we had the Ratu, who came in second. Because the reason why I almost said they came in, it was Tika that came in second, was Ratu, I think, made the wrong decision here. So they had the choice between sweat or savvy, right? They either had to go back and forth dragging this big net, filling it with coconuts, and each time you'd add a new coconut, and they only had 4 hours to do it. Or they could have done the savvy kind of puzzle. They kind of looked at everybody and they were like, listen, I think we can do the physical thing, but I don't know if we can do the puzzle, especially because you didn't get to see it first, right? Whatever kind of thing that was going to be, they didn't know what it was going to look like even, so they went and decided to go with the sweat option. It was Matthew and Brandon were like, look, we're big dudes, we can do this. And they almost did it. It took them a long time to finish it, but they did finish. That gave Tika the not option, but they had the other option of the savvy, the puzzle. And it ended up being Helen and Carson who were able to figure it out. It was a really cool kind of thing. It was like big spears that had intersecting lines, and there was a big one and a smaller one on the inside. They had to count the lines, make a guess, and whatever that was good. Helen came up with a great idea to look at the apex of all the intersections, and then you can count from there. And they really just kind of nailed it. But it would have been such a heartbreaker to give Tika the sweat option, especially with Bruce, their main strong physical guy, who would have been the one to have to do the bulk of that carrying. He was done for. So they went with the sweat option on Ratu, which gave them the savvy option, which made it easier for them. I don't know if Tika would have been able to complete that sweat challenge to carry those coconuts back and forth. Who would they have done it with? Yam Yam? Would Yam Yam have done it? Yam Yam and Carson? Are they going to do the boys? Carson, he was 115 pounds before he came on the show. He had to gain 30 pounds just to make it. Like, what? He's like, I've never seen a gym. What's a gym? So who are they going to have drag those? Because look, as much as, Carolyn, she's a firecracker, I don't think she would have the strength and endurance to carry those coconuts. Brandon played in the NFL, right? Like Matthew and Brandon, if they were struggling that hard with it, do you think Sarah and Helen would have been able to pull that off? I don't think so. So you would have put that tribe at a severe disadvantage. Now, on the flip side of that, they could be thinking, hey, we can do the physical thing. We're not sure if we can do the savvy thing. And if we send them the savvy one and give them a break, maybe that builds some rapport later on down the line when you have tribe swaps and merges and all that kind of stuff. Maybe you can say, hey, remember that time we took the sweat option for you guys? That was because we knew, Bruce was hurt and we didn't want to, hinder you guys. We wanted to give you a fighting chance. So maybe that's a way you could kind of play it later on. Honestly, I think you try and knock them down the best you can. I think that would have been better for them. Because, hey, maybe in the long run, it would have helped out. Because Brandon definitely had some issues later on down the line. And I think a big part of it was all that energy that him and Matthew had to put into doing that coconut challenge. Anyway, while that's all happening, we have the tribes get to their camps, and while they're there, they notice locked up in this cage, there's some kind of advantage at their camps. It's kind of public. There's a key though that they're not able to find, so if they can find that, they'll be able to get to whatever that advantage is. They don't know what it is. It's kind of cool that it's public and it's there because you'll know if it's gone if somebody finds it. We did end up getting the only tribe to get theirs open was Ratu, and it was really interesting how that went all about. But we'll get to that in just a bit. And Matthew was also doing some real dumb stuff. So we already had one medical visit with Bruce earlier, but Matthew, he decides to start climbing some rocks and having fun. And he did one of the dumbest things, falls and slips down. He ends up being really lucky, just getting a few scrapes and scratches. And he did kind of hurt his shoulder. He said it popped out. He was able to pop it back in. But the fall that he took could have been much, much worse. So they ended up having another one of their adventures where each tribe has to pick one person to go off on a little adventure with two of the other people from the other tribes. Both Ratu and Tika, they both kind of, or actually, no, it wasn't Ratu and Tika who did it. It was Tika and Soko who just drew sticks. Longest stick goes. Ratu, what was interesting here was they drew rocks. And I really like this detail. Lauren says she picked the rocks, so she knew which one was which. Isn't it funny that she's the one who ends up going on? I love it. I love that she's like, look, I'm lying, I'm cheating, I'm stealing, and I'm going and getting that advantage. Like, I'm not letting anybody else go, and I'm going. So it ended up being Lauren, Sarah, and Matt who go on this little adventure. And I really like this too. So instead of the, dilemma of like risk your vote or get an advantage, and if, more than one person risks their vote, you both lose your vote and you don't get an advantage kind of a thing. Everybody had their own choice. There's a bag in front of you. You have to reach in and get and grab something. It's a 1 in 3 shot. You're either going to lose your vote or you're getting an advantage. So, 1 in 3 shot that you get an advantage. 2 in 3 shot that you'll lose your vote. So you have to pick once. And if you lose your vote, you can pick again, because then that would mean it's a 50-50 shot to lose your vote and get an advantage. And there were 2 really cool new advantages that came out of this. First of all, Matt lost both. Matt reached in twice, lost both of the votes. So you can see on our board over here, Matt has -2 votes, meaning the next 2 tribals he goes to, he can't vote at all. Sarah, she reached in once, she lost the vote, but she also reached in again and she got an advantage. It's a brand new one called the inheritance advantage. It's really cool. So the basic idea is you can play this advantage at one tribal, and any advantage that's played during that tribal, you will get secretly afterwards if you survive. So let's just say, easiest scenario is, somebody's going to be playing an immunity idol. You play this, you now have a secret immunity idol afterwards. It could get crazy, right? Imagine 2 idols are played. Imagine an idol and a nullifier are played. Imagine somebody uses a steal a vote, which we have extra votes in there too. I wonder how that will play in. It's a really powerful advantage, especially if you can use it at the right time. So really cool to see how this all plays out. Lauren also gets a brand new advantage. It's called Bank Your Vote. Basically, the idea is if you don't vote at a tribal, you can save the parchment, and that now becomes a second vote for you in the game, so that you will have 2 votes later on down the line. Uh, and yeah, so we walk away with Sarah with losing a vote but gets the advantage, Matt losing 2 votes, and Lauren gets the bank of vote. Really interesting to see how this all plays out. Meanwhile, we mentioned the cage advantage. The only tribe that was able to find this was Ratu, and it was actually Brandon who found the key. Only problem was when he found the key, he was right next to Maddie when he did it. At first he tries to hide it, right? He kind of slips it in his pants. Hopefully she didn't see. But Maddie kind of seemed like she was onto him. Seemed like she was really sus of it. She's like, I saw him kind of messing around over there. I don't know what he was doing. And then later, Brandon kind of goes like, all right, I gotta just tell her. So he pretends to find it again. He's like, oh, look, I found it. And then they have a little discussion like, hey, should we tell the others? Should we not tell the others? Maddie kind of wanted to keep it secret, but Brandon didn't like that and thought that was sketchy. So he didn't feel like he could trust her, which then made him tell everyone. So they all went to the cage to do it them together. This also actually led to Maddie realizing, oh, like Brandon doesn't trust me at all, so he doesn't want to work with me. So those two were immediately at odds with each other after this whole situation. They open up the bird cage, they pull out the bag, and inside, not only is it an idol, but there's a fake idol. But since they opened it in front of everyone, that fake idol's kind of pointless. His real idol also becomes more of a target than it does become an advantage. A public idol is so less powerful than a secret one. So it was going to be interesting to see how this all plays out moving forward. We go to the first immunity competition, and I just got to say, this might be the coolest immunity idols that we've ever seen. It's a sword and a shield that kind of go into each other. The winning team gets the sword, the second place one gets the shield. It looks dope. Very different from most idol designs that we've seen on Survivor before, and I thought these were really cool. One of the most interesting things, though, that happened during Tribal, and it kind of got glossed over really quickly because something happened immediately right afterwards. But there was 2 people who ended up sitting out since Bruce, who actually might as well get Bruce out of there since he got medevac, like I said, basically the first night they were there. Since he was gone, the 2 other tribes had an extra player. 2 people had to sit out. So Matthew ends up sitting out and Claire end up sitting out. What was really cool, though, was there were some whispers going back and forth, and Claire goes, hey, what did your person say when they got back from the adventure? Which Matt, he was very honest with them, except for the fact that he didn't tell them he lost 2 votes. He told them they lost 1 vote, and he actually showed them the paper that said you lost a vote. The thing was, Lauren didn't. Lauren told them, yeah, I lost a vote, which she did. She, didn't. she just got it right straight up. She's boop. She's boop. I got the bank of vote now. This is mine. So she didn't tell them that. She completely lied to them and didn't show them anything. So with Claire telling Matthew this, that let him know, oh, Lauren's lying. And she probably has an advantage, which completely made Matthew want to target her going forward. So it's going to be interesting to see, like, come a merge or a tribe swap situation. Matthew and Claire kind of working together, because she even kind of said to me, she's like, hey, I like you. I get a good feeling from you, right? So I really like this idea of, using any moment you can to make connections to the other tribe, right? Like I said earlier, Ratu, maybe they can spin it with the people that are on Tika, like, hey, we saved you, right? We could have given you the sweat one, but we chose to do the sweat. So it's going to be interesting to see, like, how those different dynamics go. And I love seeing that kind of happen. Anyway, while that whispering was going on, Brandon, he's not doing so well. Brandon ends up kind of suffering almost from like a heat stroke. He overheats. A medical team has to come in. The third player now who has to get medical attention. Now we had Brandon, we had Matthew, and now Bruce as well had to get medical. So three people already, and I don't think it's over. I think we're gonna get more as this season goes on. But since Brandon had to get medical help, that really kind of hindered his team, his tribe, in trying to finish. Soka ends up winning it all, and then it came down to Ratu and Tika ends up beating Ratu because they were down another tribe member. They didn't have Brandon in the muscle to be able to move those pieces around in the puzzle. So they're going to end up going to tribal, which ends up with some interesting things, right? Because Brandon's got the public idol. Matthew just found out about Lauren and her not being honest. So how will this really go? What's going to happen here? And when they get to tribal, even before that too, Jamie starts talking about how she's nervous and she wants to play her shot in the dark. And it's like, what? Like, huh? Brandon's trying to get people on board with the Lauren vote because he feels sketched out that she lied and obviously she has an advantage. Yes, we know about Brandon's advantage, but why do that when there's one you don't know about, right? Devil you know, the devil you don't, that kind of a situation. So it really did seem like it was going to come down between Brandon and Lauren and which one of them was going to get voted out here at Tribal. And this is where things kind of just get crazy. First off, I do want to mention the tribal set this season looks amazing. It's like all medieval. They got like a chess set up where you go vote. Really cool. So Jamie plays her shot in the dark. Then it's revealed that Matt plays his shot in the dark. Two people. Why are you playing your shot in the dark on the first tribal? Why? Why? Especially these two who really didn't seem like they had any issues at all. But with how everything turned out, this was kind of a genius play by Matt. And I'll explain more. So anyway, they play that, which then means we have to figure out like, okay, are either one of them safe? Because they also don't have their vote now. So Matt, he's not safe. Jamie is safe. So any votes that were cast for the two of them would not count. So then we would only have 4 votes that are happening, right? Well, things get even crazier now because Lauren doesn't vote. She decides to use her bank a vote. So she now has an extra vote at another tribal, but that means there were only 3 votes cast. It was going to be, pretty much what Maddie, Brandon, and Kane decided to do. Hendon plays his idol. Which at this point, if you have a public idol like that, you kind of cost your team in the immunity challenge. You have to play that idol. You can't go home with that idol in your pocket or go to tribal expecting not to get votes. So he casts that, he plays his idol, and he negates 2 votes for him, which means he had the sole vote on who to send home, who to vote out of the tribe. And it turns out he chose Maddie, which again goes back to them finding the key together and them not trusting each other. I really was kind of going into it thinking, oh, he's going to vote for Lauren, but he ends up going for Maddie, who's the one he knows he can't trust compared to Lauren, who I guess he feels he can kind of work with. Obviously, she has an advantage of some kind. He could say, look, I didn't vote for you, right? I was never going to vote for you. I was voting for her. She also didn't vote for him, but they don't know that necessarily. Everybody was kind of confused on why there were only, 3 votes and what happened. Here's where I think Matthew had maybe the most genius play of this all. He went into this knowing that Jamie was most likely playing her shot in the dark. She had said it back at camp, I'm probably playing it. Okay, that's fair, which meant her vote's not going to matter, but he didn't 100% know what was going to happen, right? If Brandon plays his idol and he doesn't go home, well, then he ends up on the wrong side of a vote if he voted for Brandon, And if Brandon doesn't play as idol and Brandon just went and he voted with Brandon and didn't vote him out, well, then he's on the opposite side of the vote. The best thing he could have done was play the shot in the dark because it clean hands. Clean hands. Whatever happened, he can say, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. I had nothing to do with it. And even if he votes, probably doesn't matter. Doesn't matter because he played the idol and Jamie didn't vote. Lauren didn't vote. It was the most wild scenario that could have played out. And I think Matthew walks away looking great, feeling great that he didn't have to show his cards at all. At first, I was like, why is he doing this? And then after I realized Lauren's not voting, Jamie's not voting, and you get an idol play, that's only 3 votes, and it ends up being Brandon who decides it all. And Matthew walks away clean, still with all of his allies intact. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Great episode. Again, it's nowhere on the level of Australian Survivor. Anyone, again, who's been watching that this season, completely different level. But I really like this episode. I had a lot of fun with it. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Who are you liking so far? Do you have any winner picks? Do you have any loser picks already? Jamie, listen, Jamie's not winning this game. If Jamie wins this game, I'm not watching Survivor anymore. If Jamie wins, I'm just not watching anymore. I really like Kane. I really like Carson. Helen, I think, is really awesome. Yam Yam's fun, but I don't see him as a winner. Claire, I really like Claire. Lauren is sneaky, but I think she's going to get caught eventually for being too sneaky. But yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know in those comments down below. Also, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Especially if you made it all the way to the end of this video, smash that like button, hit that notification bell so you never miss a video, you never miss a stream. We will be streaming live on Twitch tonight. We'll probably be talking about the cast a little bit more from Big Brother Canada. We'll be playing some games over there, hanging out, chatting. So make sure you follow the Twitch. Links are in the description. The pinned comment down there as well. Also, get ready for a wild week next week because we'll be having Big Brother videos coming out. I don't know how the digital dailies are going to be and how much content I'll be able to actually make off of those, if it will be even kind of worth it for you guys to watch them. We'll see. We're gonna kind of wing it. We'll see how it all goes. But thank you guys again once again for watching, and I will see you next time.